We have a follow-up tonight to a recent NBC5 Investigate story. We first told you last week how immigration attorneys are raising concerns that ICE is confiscating some personal documents like IDs or passports from immigrants that they detain and then not returning those documents after they're released from detention.
Investigative reporter Bennett Haeberle has been on this story and following every step along the way. Joins us now with some new information in the investigation. Bennett, what are you finding out?
Yeah, Stephen and Allison, it is hard to pinpoint exactly how often this has happened, but we do know there are a record number of habeas petitions that are being filed in court. Those are essentially legal challenges to the ongoing immigration arrests and the tens of thousands of people that are being held in ICE custody. With that, we're seeing more and more complaints about those personal documents being withheld.
As part of our reporting, we spoke to immigration attorneys here in Chicago who said this is happening on a recurring basis. There are more than 70,000 people in ICE custody, and with that, a record number of attorneys challenging the arrests and detention of their clients by ICE and Border Patrol. A federal judge in Minnesota initially held an assistant U.S. attorney in contempt over personal documents that had not been returned to an immigrant. That judge wrote in a court order last week that the inability of the U.S. Attorney's Office to fulfill its duty and ensure compliance with orders has real consequences for real people. She also wrote that federal courts have long recognized that identification documents like IDs are not trivial pieces of paper, but instruments of liberty and personhood. The judge went on to say that she expects 100% compliance in the future, or at least a heads up if something goes wrong, noting that she won't tolerate disobedience and radio silence from the government.
And so what you're now seeing is federal judges having to issue court orders in order to get the government to return these documents. As one immigration attorney put it, this is really just the current reality they're dealing with, where these types of things have to be litigated.
And Bennett, we have to ask, what is the reason for this? Why is the government holding on to these documents?
Well, they've said in other court cases that they have to hold on to these documents because otherwise the person who really, owns them, it would make it more difficult for them to deport that individual. And so that's really what this is all about. But they really haven't given much of an explanation. We have asked ICE and DHS repeatedly for an explanation on why this has transpired. They have still not replied to us, even since our story aired now a week ago.
We're glad you're going to stay on the story.
Yeah, we will.
Get some more answers.
Yeah. Thank you, Bennett. We appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.